Earlier this year, I went to a very special place, an AI hospital. The name of this place is called Neko Health. And it's a very special place for a number of reasons. I'm going to give you my own review of my experience, how I thought it went, and how I believe Neko is truly using AI in order to provide a better healthcare experience. So let's get into it. So Neko Health is a company that was started by the CEO of Spotify, out of all companies. He's now going into healthcare as well. And a smart man, he knows that AI is going to be big in healthcare. He started to set up a bunch of Neko Health clinics around London, and now they've started to open in different countries now as well. The waiting list was huge. A lot of people have been waiting for over a year or even 2 years before they're able to even go to the Neko Health station to do their full checkup. But I managed to fast track and get access a little bit quicker. So then I went, and they allowed me to film as well, which is great. So I'm going to walk you through the experience, the sequence of events, what happened, what I thought was different, how I believe AI is helping in healthcare in this case in terms of checkups, and then my overall review and score of how I think the experience went versus a traditional checkup experience that you have in NHS or in other countries as well. So the first thing you do obviously is you go to the website and you book in an appointment. A lot of times you have to go on the waiting list. So this was quite frustrating, launching a service that wasn't fully available yet. And I get the whole point of a waiting list. Waiting lists are sexy, right? People love waiting in lines. When you go into a restaurant and you see a really big line outside, you must think, wow, this is really good. I'm going to wait. So for a lot of people who believe in this psychology, they go ahead and wait. So that's what happens to most people. I did that for a little bit as well. Then you get invited to pick a date. So then you're given maybe a couple of options of dates. Not many, to be honest, depending which location you pick. I picked the location in Spitalfields, which is very close to Liverpool Street Station in central London. And then I picked my date and my time. I tried to go at night. So around 7 o'clock at night, when it was a little bit later, not as busy, not as much traffic. And I went, and you'll see the video of me walking through the street, about to walk in. And finally, you're into reception. You walk into this building, and I don't know how to describe it. It's like walking into a hospital if Apple had created a healthcare clinic. It's very minimalistic. It does not have anything that shouldn't be there. It's literally a reception and a sofa and then a really, really massive blind for you to then walk up some stairs, which you'll see in the videos as well. So you walk into reception, they kind of go, yep, what's your name? Good, have a seat, somebody will call you. And then after a couple of minutes, somebody calls you. You go through the stairs, again, very futuristic building. It looks like you're in a Star Trek hospital. It's very, very cool lighting, kind of lime green, pastel type colors everywhere. Then you're given a chance to sit down and to fill out a disclaimer, any extra information you haven't provided, which they do ask you previously as well. So I thought that was a bit of a mismatch. Given all the technology that's gone into this, they should have thought about connecting what you've already answered online versus that piece of paper that they give you. So I thought that was a bit odd, a little bit out of character, let's say, for what they're trying to sell. Anyway, you're asked to then take off your shoes, and you're asked to sit down and wait for a nurse to come and collect you. There's some water. It's a very calm, clean, minimalistic environment. Think literally like a 2050 spaceship. Then after 10 minutes or so, someone comes to collect you. That's going to be a nurse. The nurse will then take you across the corridors to your scanning bay. And in that scanning bay, you're going to be asked to get into a changing room, and there'll be a robe waiting for you. So you have to strip down. You can keep your underwear on. You put on this white robe and leave your things in that place. And apparently it's locked and it's secure. Nobody goes in there. And that's exactly what I did. Then you're asked to walk into this kind of scanning room. In the scanning room, there's going to be two rooms kind of linked up together. So one room, which is a table with a really big scanner on top of it, which does many things. We're going to get into that in a second. And then the room that is joining that by a partition is basically your 3D, 2D full body scan room. And what happens is you first walk in, they ask you to go into that full body scan room, and then you do the full body scan. It takes about a couple of minutes, I would say. I don't know if it felt longer for some reason, but I believe it was about a couple of minutes. And what you do is you have to kind of stand there like this, or I think with your hands up or down, and it does a full body scan. You'll see a bunch of cameras everywhere. And what this does is a number of things, and this is where AI starts to get quite interesting. So what they do is they take thousands of pictures of your full body. There is up to, I think, 50 sensors in that scanner. Then there's 20 more on the table that you sit on later on. And then there's about 50 million data points which are collected on you from that scanner. And then when you sit down on the table as well, about 15 gigabytes of data is collected on you in this 1 hour that you're in Neko Health. So what this scanner does is it checks for the body heat temperature. Any abnormal body heat coming from your body, then that will warrant the doctor to go and have a look at you in certain places. Let's say if you had a really massive red patch on your knee, in the heat scanner, the doctor might think there's some sort of infection there, then they will go investigate further. But if there's nothing abnormal, they won't proceed to do additional checks. Then this scanner takes a picture of every single mole in your body. And as a redhead, I have freckles, I have quite a few moles. So it took literally about 1,000 pictures of my moles. And this is really cool, actually, because there's nowhere else that I'm aware of where you can take a picture of all of your moles, right? Sometimes doctors will take a picture of a mole that they suspect or another one, but this really means that they have to have a look at your whole body. It's not as good as a type of, OCR, a type of, NLP AI solution that will actually identify a mole and take a picture of everything that looks like a mole. So I think it will be better than the human. The cool thing is, when you come back a year later, whenever you want, they'll be able to take a picture again of those those moles. Each of them have its own reference. And the cool thing is that you can then see if a mole has changed size. So this is a really cool part of the AI here for Neko Health. So well done to them for implementing that. So they can pick up to 0.2 millimeters, so 2 micrometers in change of your mole size and shape. So that's very cool. I'm sure no human will be able to, really understand, okay, has their mole changed size by, such a small amount. So there you go. Every mole has a unique identifier, a unique reference. And then when you go again, it will track the changes in shape and size. And if obviously that's happening, someone needs to take a look. It could be potentially skin cancer. So that was very, very cool. Then after that kind of body scan is over, you're then taken to go and lie down on the table. So when you sit down on that table, they do a number of things. They take your blood because they need to do blood work. They test for all of the common bloods, so things like your glucose levels, sugar levels. They test for your blood pressure. They do a number of things around your arm and when they're taking the bloods as well. The other thing I thought was really cool is they take your eye pressure. And, usually you have to go to an ophthalmologist in order to do that. So they do that here as well. Eye pressure obviously is quite interesting. And talking about pressure, they also take your pressure from multiple parts of your body, not just from your arm like you do in hospitals, right? I didn't even know this was a thing. But they measure your blood pressure also in your ankles. And one of the reasons why they do this is to also check blood circulation and if everything is going well. So I thought that was pretty smart, very thorough of them. Then you're asked to put your arm out on this table and kind of like a scanner comes onto your arm. And you can see your veins going up on the screen. So it kind of penetrates your skin and looks through your veins. And what it's doing there, and it's looking through your arteries in order to look at artery stiffness, to check if you have clogged arteries or if your arteries are stiff for some reason, which is an early indication of cardiovascular health issues. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. Then after doing all of that, you're taking your bloods, doing your blood pressure, eye pressure, having the scanner come onto your body. At the end of it, a doctor will then come to the room and then ask you to kind of take off your robe and have a look at your whole body. Ask you a couple of questions. Just to verify if what you said, on the forms and on your online form was correct. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. It's not like it's fully AI experience. There is a human element to it. And it's actually a very good segue because at that point the nurses have finished their job, and then you segue onto then following up with the doctor there onwards. So then they ask you to go and get changed. You go back to your little locker room, which is right attached to that little scanning room. You get changed, you put your clothes back on, put the robe back, and you still have those Balenciaga looking shoes on. Interesting, it kind of goes with the theme of the futuristic hospital. Then you're taken into a room with a really big screen, just you and the doctor one-to-one. Okay, a real doctor, very qualified doctor. The lady that saw me, she had some great qualifications, very experienced. And what she does is she puts all of your results up on the screen. So then she says, okay, Danilo, thank you very much for coming. It's been great, 45 minutes up until now. Here are all of your results. And the cool thing that appears on the screen is actually an avatar of you. So, and that's something they acquire from doing the full body scan. So there I was in some, really kind of cool 3D avatar, and she was like spinning me around in the screen. And she would click on different parts of the screen in order to bring up the results. Then the doctor goes through a very thorough overview. Okay, they kind of say to you, okay, Danilo, this is what we picked up. Thankfully, everything was normal in my scan, so I'm very grateful. I ended up going to this Neko Health scan because I just turned 40 this year. And, it's a bit like, MOT, car maintenance. You got to check that, all the pipes, everything is working correctly. So I was very happy to hear that. One or two little things for me to look at, but nothing serious, thank God. So then, she walks through everything. She asks you, do you have any questions? And obviously, I like to play around with data. And I was like, oh, what about this data? What about that? Isn't this conflicting? Answered all the questions. The doctor was actually a little bit shocked because my results came back as top 5%, top 1%. And one thing I forgot to say as well is they do a grip strength exercise as well with you. Because grip strength is one of the indicators of longevity, right? It's a little bit like your calves in the back of your legs. If your legs are strong, it should be that you have, a healthy life because you're able to grip things and you're able to walk around. That's the theory anyway. So then I asked my questions, and then she said, oh, thank you very much. Look, we're now going to send all of this to your app, your Neko Health app, and everything will be available for you to look at. Question if you have anything you need to follow up on. There's a contact, number and email for you to reach us out on. So the whole thing lasted about an hour. I thought that was pretty unique because you go in, you do all of your scans, all of the ones that you should do, right? Not every scan you should do in terms of, if you have any particular health issues, but all of the general scans. The whole thing was about £300, which I thought was pretty okay. And, everybody was courteous. You then walk out, you put on your shoes back on, you put back the Balenciaga looking slippers, you walk down reception, say bye-bye, and off you go. So the whole experience was very seamless, very well coordinated, a very little waiting time, if any at all. Everybody seemed to be very happy to work there. It's a very clean, quiet environment. It's, maybe it even feels like a meditation center. It's so quiet. And they do genuinely use AI, right, to crunch all the numbers, to make the app available to you instantaneously. So everything is obviously very well connected in the background with APIs between all the systems that they have available. And, I really thought that this is a great place for you to go once a year, no matter how old you are. For you just to make sure that you're catching things early. A lot of times, if you go to an NHS, national healthcare system doctor, and you say, look, I don't feel that great, I just want to do a checkup. They'll kind of say to you, look, man, the hospitals are overloaded. We're not going to do a checkup, a full checkup on you. tell us exactly what's wrong and give us really good reasons why, and then we'll book you in. So you won't be able to really get this on NHS unless you have a real problem that is already happening. So I believe that, Neko Health is very useful when you're looking at preventative medicine, right? When you're looking to get ahead of the curve before a problem has arisen. So I definitely recommend it for that. I definitely recommend it for the experience. Just to be clear, this video is not sponsored by Neko Health in any way. I thought because it uses AI, and I've been in AI healthcare before, I will do a review in order to give back to you guys. And also some of you have asked me to make this video as well. So there you go. So yeah, overall experience, I would say 9 out of 10. The app experience, the fact that everything happens seamlessly and you have it available at your fingertips, I'll give that experience probably a 9.5 out of 10. So the whole thing, I would say an average of 9.25 out of 10. The reason why it's not a 10 is I believe that they missed the mark a little bit on giving you a piece of paper. I think that in today's age, if you're going to redesign a company from scratch, there should be zero paperwork involved. So that was that. And I thought that the experience was great. They asked me to do a follow-up on a particular test, but they only asked me once. And, people are busy. It would be nice for them to send a reminder a couple of times. Maybe they did and I missed it, but I definitely didn't see a follow-up. But overall, I mean, it's really difficult to get anything that's a 9 out of 10 nowadays, given everybody's standards are so high. So look, very positive experience. I think if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you should definitely go to get a checkup. And I guess also they missed, 0.75 points because, many people are having to wait a year plus before they can even go and do their checkup. So I thought that was a little bit unfortunate. People are excited to go. People are maybe anxious about their health after COVID. And to make people wait, a year or so for their checkup, I thought was a little bit, pre-launch, right? They should have thought about the launch a little bit better. But okay, waiting lists, I get it, as a marketing tactic as well. So look, overall, very positive, highly recommended. And given the price, I think it's good value for money as well. So there you go, an AI clinic scattered all over London. There's some coming in different countries as well, I believe in New York. And yeah, if you're in that age bracket, if you're thinking about getting ahead of your health and you're looking at preventative healthcare for yourself because you want to have a long and healthy life, then highly recommended. I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any questions on the experience, drop down below. I'm going to be throughout, as the video is being uploaded, be uploading a couple of shorts of some of the views you get on the app, some of the videos that you get inside of the Neko Health Clinic so that you can get more, behind the scenes type stuff. And those videos are also being used throughout this video as well. So there you go. Anything else you need on Neko Health, just reach out below in the comments and myself and my team will definitely answer as quick as I can. Have a great day and looking forward to a couple of new podcast guests coming on. I'm not going to say who is coming on yet, but I promise you some huge guests are coming on over the next couple of weeks. So definitely, keep an eye out for the podcast side of things as well. There's some great guests coming on there. All right, guys, take care. Have a great day. And don't forget, stay curious.